a warrior, a survivor, and it's all because of God. She's a teacher and a healer, and it's all because of God. She's sassy, full of fire, with a heart that's made of gold. She will help you build your body, and it's so good for your soul.
Hi there, and welcome to Life Unleashed with TLC, your host, Traci Lynn Cowan. We have a spectacular show ahead of us today, and yes, I have pink champagne. I'm super happy to be here. I have my good friends here with me, HB Heather Brown, downtown Heather Brown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great
Miss
to be here.
Fabulous Jennifer Fell.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. So we are going to do a toast first. I just want to say I'm very grateful to have wonderful friends like both of you. And so I wanted to cheers. I think Valentine's Day should be every day, but that's just me. Maybe that's an excuse to drink pink champagne with sparkles in it, or maybe it's just an excuse to talk about love. So that's our subject today. We're going to talk about love and relationships, and being the highly single person here, I'm going to be talking about it from a single point of view, and then my friends here are going to be talking about it from a married point of view. So cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Oh, I will toast and drink to that.
Cheers, cheers. Just don't spill it over the... Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Cheers.
Cheers.
It tastes good. Okay, so that's the way we should start every show. So I will not spill that on the keyboard there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that being single for a very long time, and obviously I've had my setbacks in relationships. You both know some of them. And the beautiful thing about love and relationships is that I believe it's about your resilience. And I think that being very disciplined in all of my affairs in my life, I feel like I'm being disciplined to learn how to not settle and how to really be truthful to myself and really be mindful that a relationship, a thriving, healthy relationship is definitely something that I strive for and I deserve. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I know that you are both happily married, so I love that part of it. And, for me, hopefully one day I'll have that. I don't know. Maybe I don't want that. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So, I think healing begins and our journey, starts today. So for me, I'm hopeful, and I'm also mindful that my twin flame, my soulmate, my partner in crime is out there, and he's waiting for me. I love that there's a thing on Instagram. It says somebody out there is pushing the wrong door in or the wrong door out or whatever. I can't remember. I just butchered it, but it's funny because I feel like that's my guy. It's the guy that's like going in the wrong door, and I'm coming in the opposite door. So hopefully that happens. So tell me how you both met, because these two women are badasses. They are truly badasses, and that's what I love about them. I know that we definitely have a good time when we're out together, but I know that when it's time to get serious and be serious and do a great job, I know that you both met in what kind of organization? If you want to talk about that, Heather and Jen?
We met at the DA's office.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working as a prosecutor. I was a baby DA back,
Baby
in the 1900s. It was when I first started at Central Court in Santa Ana. I was a prosecutor, and at the time, I don't think you were...
I wasn't working investigations yet.
No, you weren't investigations yet.
I think I was just working on the cases, like the clerical or something.
Yes, I think you were clerical at the time in 1998. Yeah. And then you worked your way up, and she ended up becoming working in the investigation side of things, and she was actually one of my investigators.
Ooh!
And when I was in the sexual assault unit, and but we were friends, and it just happened that she got assigned, and
I got assigned to you.
And I was like, "This is perfect."
Is it Christmas?
It was Christmas. It was Christmas for me because we were still collaborating on all our cases, but obviously we had this deep-rooted friendship that we had had for years.
Yeah. How long had you been friends before?
Years. Because how long did it take you to get to sex?
Well, I started in the office in 1998, and I was in the sex unit in 2005, and you were there in 2005. I remember that. So
was I there before you?
No, but No, I think you were in DNA no, that was DNA.
Oh,
after.
no. I think I was in family support at first.
Yeah. But one of the reasons
Or
I
organized
know,
crime. I don't know.
I know you were there in 2005 because this is a crazy story. So I was pregnant with my son, Nicholas, and he was born in 2005.
Right.
And so, and the reason I remember you were in the sexual assault unit was because I was pregnant and I went into preterm labor at 27 weeks and I was in the hospital and I was in the middle. I was about to start a trial and I called Jen, who was, working in the unit. And I said, I need you to bring me this file, and these, items. And so
Well, you're in the hospital?
Yeah. So she was like, I'm on it. I'll be there. So she shows up to the hospital and I was like, where are my files? And she's like, yeah, not going to happen. She's like, Roseanne Froberg, who was my boss at the time, intercepted her and said, over my dead body, are you bringing her files? The coolest boss ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing. But she was like, she's in the hospital, like with her, worrying about whether her baby's going to live or not. And so she's like, you're not bringing her anything. But she did come to see me. And she used to come visit me because I was placed on bed rest for 10 weeks. I had to lay on my left side while I was pregnant and take pills every 4 hours.
Didn't I untangle your jewelry too?
Yeah.
I love the little things that we remember.
Well, because she has so much jewelry, and so they were all intertwined. And I think I started it, and then I think somebody was going to come over because there was so much to be done to untangle all of your jewelry. But
you both have such a nurturing side. I mean, when after surgery with my neck, you both came over with food and everything. I mean, so much love. And you and Mike, and then Heather, I mean, well, she did scorn me as well because I wasn't taking my pain meds, but she came over with lots of love and helped me out. And I mean, you're both so nurturing. How is that? How do you balance all of that, being such a badass in the workforce and then being so loving and nurturing on the opposite side of things?
I think that it's because of what we see and what we've worked and what we, the cases that we've been through. It kind of makes you want to be a better person and especially with your family and your friends, it's like you want to nurture and love those people because everybody out there sucks. Do you know what I mean? And you're scared. I mean, I don't ever want my kids or my friends to feel like one of our victims, or do you know what I mean? So I feel like we're hypersensitive to being so loving and nurturing.
Right. And so having said that too, how is it that you don't bring that home with you? I mean, because you've seen some gruesome stuff. I've heard the stories from Defeating the Darkness. Heather Brown has a podcast. You guys got to check it out on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes. It's amazing. And her book's coming out too. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And so how do you not bring that home with you? I mean, because I see anything on the street, or if I see like a lost dog or something, I'm distraught. And I come home and I'm, I don't have anyone to, bring it out on or anything, but it's just, how do you separate yourself from all that?
Well, we do bring it home.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no escaping it. You do bring it home. Yeah. Anyone who's working in such the underbelly of society and seeing such darkness every day, it's impossible to bring it home. And you can bring it home in many ways. You can bring it home in a negative way, or you can bring it home in a positive way, like Jen was saying. Yeah. I think that's a skill set that's learned over time. Mm-hmm. I think when you first entrenched in it, you go through seasons of, oh my God, this is the worst thing. Society sucks. Humanity sucks. Mm-hmm. When you see what people are capable of doing to other human beings, it can really, cause some darkness in you. Right. But then at the same time, you see the light that other people bring in those dark times, and it gives you hope. Right. And it also reminds you how precious life is and relationships. Right. Because you really, you're at battle, with evil and what we did. And that's one of the reasons I think that we have such strong friendships. I have 1,000 friends in the legal community that are fighting battles, whether they're cops, detectives, DAs, judges. There's some incredible people, and it creates a bond. It's like people in the military creates a bond when you go through hard times together that can't be broken.
That's right.
And so there's love and there's friendship and there's camaraderie that is unparalleled that you don't see in other, necessary professions. But back to your original question about bringing it home, you do bring it home. I bring it home to my husband all the time. I mean, there was a big long period, since this is about relationships, love and relationships, and yes, we are happily married and our, husbands get along splendidly. And
They're the same.
They are two peas in a pod, except your husband makes more money than mine.
Well,
I wish my husband was killing it like yours. Sorry, Tom Brown.
But you're the one that's killing it now. So it's
but
You're always killing it there, Heather. Well, what do you think? What do you think it is in a relationship, in a marriage, that is really like just the key to hold things together? Is it
therapy?
Alcohol.
Heather and I have
Heather's will be tequila.
Heather and I have actually we
have a therapist.
I went to the therapist, and then I was like, go. And so then I saw my therapist before even Mike went. And to be honest, it's like didn't know which way my marriage was going to go.
Right.
And so my therapist is like, well, do you want to try, or do you want an exit plan?
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'll bring him in.
Okay.
And so Mike came with me, and we've gone to him for years. Like every time a bump at the road, Mike's like, I think we need to go see Dr. Snow. And like we do. And he has changed our life, really. I mean, that man saved my family.
So what are some of the golden nuggets for our viewers and listeners out there that you can say that you've extracted from therapy, in both of your opinions, that have really kind of just like bonded you together to help you go, okay, you know what? We're going to actually take the time and make this work, and we're not going to have an exit plan.
That actually just happened to us.
Okay.
Okay. So Mike and I had to because I kept saying, Mike's like, we're good, we're fine. And I go, but I don't want to be fine. I want to be great. Like, I want a relationship. Like, I want a best friend. Like I can be fine, but I want to be intimate. I want to have those feelings. And so when we went to therapy and we talked about it, like, we had to do some serious work. And Mike initially is like, I want no part of that. And I was like, okay. I go, well, then I guess we'll just be fine until we're not.
Wow.
And then we had to do it. We had to dive back into our childhoods and really share why we are the way we are and what triggers us. I mean, and in there, like, I had to start, and my therapist was crying, Mike was crying, and then my husband had a whole different point of view on me as I did him when he opened up and shared. And we really would trigger each other. And now we purposely try not to trigger each other, like, because we know what it is. And it's actually been really beautiful not triggering each other.
I hear a lot of compassion in there. So, for that younger self and that child that was hurt, and, not poking the bear, as we say, in counseling. And because that's a thing too, we bring things to the table, we bring hurts, we bring these things. So it's, how do you feel that when you do have these triggers come up, and either one of you or both of you can answer this, how do you feel that when these triggers do come up and you're feeling it and it's starting to brew and it's coming, how do you feel that you can better handle it now so that people can really, take effect from this?
Well, I think that you need to remind yourself that feelings lie.
Right.
Because I know people say, oh, the key to a happy marriage is communication. Like, what does that mean? You come home, how was your day? You talk,
Right.
Like, and I think that goes back to what Jen's saying. And it's more than communication. It's about an understanding. If you have a basic understanding, if you understand the other person and where their, thought processes or opinions and viewpoints stem from. Right. Which is causing them to behave a certain way. Yeah. Like my husband, he's arguably somewhat of a control freak, right? As are you, for the record, Traci. But anyway,
She's calling me out on my own show.
Yeah,
You know what? That's why I like her.
Well, and also Heather, we both know if anybody tries to control us, like then we're gonna our husbands are rule followers, right?
Yes.
And it's like give us a rule and we're gonna break it.
yeah,
That's
right.
just like so it's like that. Like my husband would always
Right.
say this to me. I got a new rule. I'm like, ugh, fuck. Like a new rule? Like again? Like he used to do that all the time in the marriage. Like
Oh,
I got a
wow.
new rule. I was like, it'll be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
It's
don't.
the
I don't.
defiance in us,
Yes.
but that
Yeah.
stems from our childhood.
Exactly. I
Because
hate
both of
rules.
us in our backstory, which we don't even need to get into, but like we both felt like very controlled. You know,
Right.
in control it's not just like you have an overbearing parent. Like for me, it was emotional control. My father committed suicide when I was 9.
Right.
And for the listeners, like that is the most emotionally controlling thing anyone could ever do, because in that selfish moment, and suicide's various reasons people take that horrible ultimate step, but when you're a child and your parent does that, you in that one decision have decided you're going to control their emotions for the rest of their entire lives, right?
Yeah.
And like to a kid, it makes you feel like, gosh, I wasn't enough reason for you to want to live, So it's that's the ultimate control you can have over someone. That's why people do that, right? Like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me. I'm going to kill myself because I'm going to control them with their emotions now. I'm going to make them feel guilty. I'm going to make them feel bad.
Right.
And so that was the control, from my childhood.
Yeah.
So my husband, for whatever, reasons and his backstory and his thing, I think, his dad died at a very young age when he was like 7 months old. So he didn't have a father figure, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, and leukemia. So my husband, and he was in the military, so, and then he was an FBI agent. And so he likes order and he likes control. And I was raised in chaos and control also, and I rebelled against control my whole life,
Yeah.
And so I think Jen's spot on about, that's kind of where the dynamics come into play.
Right.
Which is funny because you gravitate towards, in your relationship,
I was just going to say.
you gravitate towards like people, psychologists will tell you that when let's say you were in, a domestic violence situation growing up where your father was abusive. You will gravitate towards a man who's abusive. You'll, in your mind, intellectually be like, I will never be with an abusive man.
Right.
But what you don't know is subconsciously you seek the dynamic, the emotional dynamic that makes you comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You hated it. You didn't like it. You don't want it. But psychologically, that's where your emotional state will gravitate towards the person who makes you feel like you used to feel when you were younger, even if it sucks and you hated it.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, they also say too, and I fully believe this, when you fall in love with somebody, like for me with Mike and probably you for Tom, I grew up in total chaos.
Yeah.
And he was so like, he doesn't lie. He wouldn't lie, cheat, steal, litter. Like he is the most honest, and responsible, all these things. So I was drawn to that stability. You know what I mean? But they say the reasons and he loved me because I was crazy and fun and and he's not. I mean, well, he is, but I don't mean like not as fun as us.
Not at all.
No,
but
he's nowhere near as fun as us.
But what they say
But he
is
is
the
fun.
reason you fall in love with somebody is actually the same reasons you fall out of love with somebody. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm drawn to his. He was like super structured and all the stuff, and then finally like, dude, loosen up. You're too structured. But that's why I fell in love with him. But then that's the reasons I started resenting him. And I think same with you and Tom for sure.
100%.
Yeah, no, I can
100%.
relate to that too. Because, well, I wasn't abused by my father, but my stepfathers and other men that came into my life. And then when I was married, obviously I was in a domestic violence situation with my ex-husband, and that was the same thing. He wasn't. That was the interesting part, though. I always liked the fun, like the bad boy, and that attracted me, and so I loved that. And he was always like, the life of the party and fun, and everyone loved him. But then that ended up being what I was resentful, and that was and he was also very controlling and possessive and all these other things. So I look back at it, and it's like the chaos again. You know, my mom liked those type of guys too, the fun guy, the party guy. I mean, it's interesting. I even found a picture that I don't have a lot of belongings of my mom's after she passed away in 2011, but there's this picture of her in a bar. They have with a random guy, of course, and sorry, Mom, and cigarettes in the ashtray, cigarette butts in the ashtray. They're clearly in a bar, and they have all these drinks, like a beer, there's shots, there's like whiskey, and I'm just like looking going, who's this rando guy, right? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I was exactly like my mom. And I was just, it hit me, and I just went, oh, you know, because my mom was very loving and super nurturing, and she's a lot like me, obviously, she was. And so I look back at it going, okay, so I'm just mirroring everything that I learned and everything that I saw and I watched growing up as a kid. So it's really interesting when we look at it, you know, and then you're like, you know, you get that ick factor, and you get that factor where you're like, can you not chew like that? Can you not breathe? Can you not move? Can you not put your finger like on your hand? You're like, do you think you can ever recover from if you get like the ick factor, or you get that to that point where you literally can't even stand hearing them breathe?
100%.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
There's hope.
No, you definitely can.
I think as you get more into the marriage and the kids are older, and there's not like right now for us, it's like we literally, and I never in a million years thought that, like, I would always be like, you're not my end game. You're not my end game. And I, from the day I've married him to the day I met him, I've had one foot out the door. And that's what he would tell me in therapy. He's like, Jen, he goes, you're always leaving. He's like, he goes, imagine being me, like where you have one foot out the door, like, and you just like, you're done. And then he goes, he would never leave me. Not because, or any, he's like, I'm here. I've been here. Like, I'm never going anywhere. He goes, and you know that. And I do know that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I started to feel really shitty about myself for making him feel so like, I didn't make him feel secure. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause I was always like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so learning these things, it's like, I never thought that I would, you know, I mean, now I do start to sometimes think like, God, I don't want him to die. You know, like I'll just like at night, like I'll just, no, cause you know how like, I mean, before I'm like,
I think that was a happy,
As your attorney, I think that was you to stop talking.
I think that was, I'm going to take a sip now. I think that was actually a good heartfelt
really
thing
was.
you meant.
Like I'm worried now before I'd be like, I'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm good. And now I'm like, God, I think I would miss him if he was gone.
You know, I think I might actually miss him if he dies.
That's probably a good thing to have in a marriage. Yeah, I am single, very single. When it was Heather on your show, Defeating the Darkness, Heather was like, did you do some kind of like on the prowl or something like that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Single, on the prowl.
I'm not really on the prowl, but that does sound funny. No. So things change. So you also have done therapy or in therapy with your relationship as well?
It's funny because we did share the same therapist. I don't see him anymore, but he's on my speed dial if I need him. But I have to tell you a funny story about him. Dr. Snow. Scott Snow. If anybody needs an incredible therapist.
I'm going to have to tell him I gave him a shout out.
This was years ago when I was, having some difficulties in my marriage and I knew like we needed help. Jen referred me to him and I went to him in the first session. I'm sitting there and he tells me there comes a point in everyone's marriage where you need to mourn the loss of your needs.
Oh, you said that in Bible study, and I was like,
he told me that, and I was like, could I have my $150 back, please? I think he charges more now, but anyway, he does. He was like, back then, he goes, yeah, you have to mourn the loss of your needs, and I was like, that made me sad. Like,
okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, it means you need to accept the fact your needs are never going to be met in this marriage, and now I will tell you this for anyone listening, like this is what's important to realize is. Like at that time, I desired like what you were saying, what I was used to when I was younger, the fun guy, the bad boy, the one who's going to be the life of the party and take me out and, you know, have cocktails and go to concerts and do all those fun things that my husband has zero interest in doing. Now, he would do them with me, but he would be miserable the entire time. We'd go to a party and be like, we don't have to stay all night. And I'd be like, you're saying that from the get-go? And I'm like, but we can, and I like to stay all night. Like, why are we?
And you just got there.
And we just got here. You're already thinking about us leaving.
Mike does that on the way or even 2 days before. So let's have a time we can leave. I go, why are we talking about leaving? We haven't got there. Our husbands are exactly the same.
I just realized I'm going to be single for the rest of my life.
No, because listen, the end story is that, so I was really sad and depressed after I left that session. I thought, this marriage is doomed because I don't want to mourn the loss of my needs. I want the man to fulfill my needs. Well, I got to tell you, I got a little bit older and my needs have changed. Yeah. Okay. And, you know, they call them bad boys for a reason. It's because they're bad. Okay. Yeah. That thing that you desired. So one of the things that Dr. Snow pointed out to me one day was he said to me, I want you to think about that guy. Okay. You know, like the romantic guy or the, you know, the all in your space kind of guy. How does that feel? Like you got some guy serenading you at the window. And I was like, ugh. It actually, honestly, if I stopped and thought about someone writing me a poem or
maybe for like the first time or like 10 minutes and then you're like, all right, you're done.
No,
I'm over it.
It's not attractive to me.
Right.
And so as I've aged and as our children have grown up and as I've evolved, I've come to realize, like, it's great to have a designated driver.
Totally.
It's cheaper than Uber.
Totally.
Right? But
what if he likes to drink too?
They
then you're in
don't.
trouble.
He doesn't. They don't. Our husbands
Even
don't.
if we Uber, my husband's like, I think we'll Uber tonight. I'm like, why? Like, I get it, but you will not have more than 2 drinks. Like, he won't.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I need to find a designated driver that's
right.
But
nice.
it's not even about that. It's about like one of the things that I really loved and love about my husband is he's the constant. He is the constant in my life. Even if I'm, you know, emotional or I have, you know, 1,000 things going on, my husband's the salt of the earth and the one who's going to be there, and he's going to remember to lock the door. He's going to remember to feed the kids. He's going to remember.
Totally. That's important.
No, it's important. You know, I run around, you know, working and I have all kinds of things going on and busy. And my husband, like, it once seemed kind of boring. Like he lived such a boring life. He, you know, stays home a lot. He doesn't have a ton of friends. He doesn't, you know, go out and do all these fun things, but he's the constant. He's always there for me. Always there for me.
Yeah.
He's reliable. And he's not just there for me, he's there for our children. And he's there for all of my friends and family who need a strong constant. And
he is super funny.
And he is hilarious.
I vouch for that. Tom Brown is hilarious. And he is that constant. And, you know, even just as your friend, he's driven me home. He's like, what do you need?
He's driven her home too.
He's designated driver for me.
No, and my husband, like one time I was just messing with him and I was like leaving Malibu and I didn't have anything to drink because I knew I had to drive home from Malibu.
Right.
But I called him. I wanted to let him know I was coming home. And I go, hey, baby, I've had too much to drink. Can you come get me? He's like, oh, I'm on my way.
I know.
Like, I was playing with him.
Ride or
I go,
die.
honey, I haven't even had a drink. I was just kidding. But he didn't even say like, oh my God, I have to drive to Malibu. I mean, it was like.
That's how Mike is too. Like he will. But like he would get mad, like if I was like, if I'm home having wine or something, like we'd go through these things. I go, honey, you don't want me drunk in a bar. like if I can't drink at home and have fun, like listening to music or whatever, like you don't want me drunk in a bar. So quit getting mad at me for having wine at home.
Right.
And so it's like when I do go out, and he is always like, I love this about him. And I texted him the other night, I was out with my girlfriends and I may have overdone it. And I said, I need you to pick me up, walk in on your white horse, be my knight in shining armor, like you always are, have a beer with me and take me home safe. Aww. And so then I love when he walks in to wherever I am and he is there and then I feel safe.
Aww.
Like he always makes me feel safe. And he's like Tom, he doesn't care. He will drive and he'll drive all my friends home too. You know, he just shows up. Like you said, he is and he truly worries about my safety. Yeah. Because I mean, we're so careless. Not anymore.
Hey, easy. I don't be throwing around the C word. Not on me.
My Lord.
I don't mean like that
like
much anymore.
Uphold.
She's
like, figuratively speaking.
it's like, that's what I'm saying. They make good choices all the time.
Yeah, I like it when they show up, except for, okay, I don't know if you remember this evening, but we were at the Quiet Woman. Nothing good comes of going to the Quiet Woman.
I heard this one. This is fun.
Did you hear this? And so I was at the bar, and there was this old creeper creeping on me, like hitting on me. This is back when I was actually relatively
Shut up.
hit onable. Anyway, that ship sailed. But anyway, I was at the Quiet Woman, my girls, and this creepy guy was hitting on me, and there was another man at the bar who could see it, that I was uncomfortable. I'm married. I wasn't trying to flirt with anybody, and I was trying to like distract him and get him to leave me alone. And this man interceded on my behalf. And he goes, hey, he says to the guy, what are you doing hitting on my daughter? Like, that's disgusting. And they obviously knew one another from the bar. And so the guy who was hitting on me was like, oh my God, dude, this is your daughter? I'm so sorry, man. He goes like, yeah, and that's disgusting. Knock it off. So I was like, thanks, Dad. Right. And yeah, like creeper, thanks, Dad. And I gave him a hug like, oh, thanks, Dad. That was it. End of it. I didn't even talk to the guy after that.
I walked a little girl voice that also came with
thanks,
that.
Daddy.
Thanks, Dad.
No. So I left. So then I got in some political argument. Like I was talking some smack, and I thought I need to leave. Like it's time for me to leave. So I texted my husband, come get me. I'm at the Quiet Woman. So, he's got a long drive. So I go outside to wait for him, and I'm kind of laying, there's like this planter out front, and I'm just laying on the planter.
Kind of laying.
What does kind of laying in the planter look like?
Because it was taking him forever to drive, because he's so honest. He was
kind
like
of resting.
Driving the speed
kind
limit.
of resting in a planter. What time at night was this?
I don't know, 1:00 in the morning. Something like that.
Kind of resting.
So I was resting on the planter, and unbeknownst to me, okay, so the guy who had saved my ass at
Your
the
dad?
bar, my dad walks up, right? I sat up, and my dad walks over, and I was like, oh, hey, Daddy, right? I go to hug him, and just as I'm hugging this guy, call him Daddy, my husband walks up. I was like, oh, hey, baby. Like, I swear to God, this is not what it looks like.
Oh, I thought it was the other Quiet Woman story. This is even better.
I thought it was the other quiet. I was like, oh yeah, okay, that one's better.
Yeah, no, I was like, Daddy, I don't remember. I do remember, but we're not telling that other Quiet Woman story. When we got thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
Well,
we're not telling that, but you got.
You
Yeah.
just had. I was defending.
I was with you.
I was defending your honor.
I know.
Oh, I think I missed that part.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, what was Tom Brown's reaction, by the way?
He just it's the same as it always is. He just looks at me like it's somewhat disgust, like
Get in the car.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I gotta
Just in
fetch
the
you
car.
from the bushes. He loves to say that. You mean that time I fetched you from the bushes? He acts like
You're
I was
like, which time, honey?
I know. Could you be more specific?
I'm going to go ahead and need you to be more specific, Tom Brown.
yeah, but no, he's a great man. He's a constant. He's really honorable and wonderful, and he takes care of me like none other. Yeah. And I back
that.
just circle back. I don't want to fail to say this. I think forgiveness is the key to a happy marriage because none of us are perfect. We're all broken in our own twisted way from whatever childhood wounds or trauma that we're reliving and trying to heal. Right.
Right.
I mean, that's really when you're picking someone. I think
Exactly.
we subconsciously try to pick someone who we think is going to heal our childhood wounds. And that was why I chose my husband, because I didn't have a dad and I wanted a good man. And my husband I knew was going to be a great father to our children. And so I think you have to kind of go in with an understanding that
Going with very low expectations.
yeah, exactly. Lower your expectations.
Oh my
You'll
gosh.
never be disappointed.
It's amazing that you said that because my ex-husband used to tell me that all the time. And I was like, I lowered them by marrying you, first of all, but I'm kidding. But I was like, I remember one other guy saying that to me probably about, gosh, it must have been like 20 years ago. I'm dating myself now. But he's like, you need to lower your expectations so you're not disappointed. I was like, you need to not be an a-hole. Like, just how about that? Try harder. Why don't you just try harder?
I think it's hard. Listen, when I remember being single, I know it was a long, long time ago, but it was a whole host of loser guys.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, it doesn't.
What did you say
get any
before?
better?
You're like, the grass is brown on both
I know.
sides.
I said to Jen before we came on, I go, what are we going to
boy.
say? And I'm like, the grass isn't,
The grass is brown on both sides.
how about just the
It's not
grass?
greener.
What's the moral of this? I'm like, the grass is brown on both sides. No. It's not green. The grass isn't greener
It's
because
not green on
yours-
either side.
I know when you're married, you wish you were single for those few moments where you're like, oh, you don't like
Right.
the obligation or the, I don't know, whatever, the annoyance.
Someone to check in
Having to
with,
play nice
but
in
then
the sandbox all the time. It's just like,
Yeah. But then when you're single, it's like when I look at my single friends and hear the stories, I like to kind of live vicariously through you because it's somewhat arguably
You're like-
exciting. Until it's not.
Until
Until
it's
you're
not.
like, next, that guy was a loser.
you're like, and that one was a loser, and
Yeah.
that one was a loser.
And the other thing I've come to realize with my single friends is a lot of times, even if the writing's on the wall, they need to learn those lessons the hard way themselves.
Oh yeah,
Just like I did.
right.
And but when I think God is key to actually
Right.
finding the person that I think you need to look for a godly man and someone who's going to have the basic core values, like not cheat on
Right.
you, not do anything.
Right.
Like we can all be annoying, and Mike's annoying, and Tom can be annoying, and I can be annoying too.
We are all annoying.
We are, right? We all.
Jen's not annoying,
I'm not.
but
Just ask Mike.
You're
can we
amazing.
just hold on? Like, can you just show? We're gonna keep it PG. Don't worry, Pete. But show these boots. I'm sorry, these are Valentine's. If you haven't seen these boots yet, these are gorgeous. You have to show them off. I mean, those are hot boots.
They are hot boots.
They are.
Thank you very much.
And you got to keep it spicy too.
You do have to keep it spicy. I mean, does there get to a point? Okay, we're gonna circle it and throw it back and kind of go in and let's talk about sex, baby, because I mean, you have to. I mean, okay, so who agrees with me? And I don't know because I'm not married anymore, but I was married, so I can talk about this and I do
have
have
more
experience.
Bartender,
Bartender, we're gonna need some more sparkling champagne, please.
I know we should have filmed this in a bar or something.
That's
We're
next.
not in a bar?
Actually, this isn't a bar.
isn't a
Actually,
bar?
we are going to be doing a sip, wine, and food night, and also finger painting. So that will be a lot of fun.
Thank
We're going to be hosting it at a Costa Mesa restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants. Only come down there if you're cool. And if you're stalking me, please don't come down. Tres Muchachos. And that's going to be a lot of fun in the next couple of weeks. So I hope you girls are going to be there too. Am I allowed to have more, please, too? Maybe I'll pass it down to the thank you, bartender Pete. So,
Sex.
do you think yes?
Now that we're gonna
sex.
get
Now
liquored
that
up.
now that we're getting a little buzz on. So, do you think it's important as we shift and we grow? Obviously, as we age and mature. Thank you. There's times where it's more important for sex for a man, maybe more important sex for a woman. So, do you think having sex is important for a marriage?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about just doing it and getting it over with and like,
Oh,
I should have been more
what are you
specific.
talking
Okay.
about then?
Okay. I'm talking about
Just kidding.
the intimacy. You're not like, in it to win it. And it's kind of like one and done sort of. It's like, I'm talking about like having intimacy, like making love, like how important is that? Or is it just after a certain amount of years, you're just like, get it in and, give them what they need or give them what they want or take what you need, take what you want. Heather's taking a really big sip.
Yeah, I'm like, let me chug this first.
I know.
No, I think it's a splish splash of all those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I've been married for 22 years now. This is a long time, right? Some people
Right.
get less time for murder. Just saying. Okay. So you have seasons,
Right.
Yeah.
right? You have health issues that come into play.
You have headaches all the time.
Headaches, hangovers.
Are they
No.
really headaches or are you just saying, yeah?
No,
headache.
and
headache
hormones are at play, right?
Kids.
Kids,
Right.
in-laws,
family.
my mother-in-law came to live with us 13 days after we got married, and so all of those things and stressors. And then you have, you grieve, like maybe someone close to you died and you're grieving and you're
Right.
mourning. And I think the key to a successful marriage is to just keep on keeping on. Just weather the storm. And if you honor that commitment, like you made a commitment for better or for worse.
Right.
And when it's worse, okay. And someone once said this to me, there's good years and there's bad years.
Right. It's like the seasons.
Peaks and valleys for sure.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and when we go in a valley, we're in a valley.
Right.
You know, and then it's so funny because like we'll joke, we'll be in a valley for a while, and then it's just like maybe we'll have sex twice, like in a week or something. And Michael always say back to back. I'm like, oh, you mean like 2 days in a row? Ew. You know, like, but that's, you know,
if I have to.
I'm like, okay. But it's funny because it's like the other night, like we were laying in bed talking and we turned the TV off and we laid there for like an hour or longer talking about really cool things, you know, and we didn't have sex. But we were just talking and about really cool things. And the next day he woke up, he goes, that was so cool. He goes, I felt like we were dating last night.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, there was no sex. There was, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was very intimate.
Yeah, that is the intimacy. And that
was really cool. We haven't done that in a long time. Like just really enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah, that's important
without
too.
The sex.
Yeah, because there's so many distractions. There's TV, there's, you know, phone calls and like you say, stressors and things like that. So it's nice to have that time where you can just talk and get to know each other again.
I always say you got to plan it. You got to do this. And then it's just like my husband tried to do that.
Planning's boring.
That's what I said. Or like he would call me up and like start threatening me in the morning. I know. Like, I think we're doing it tonight. I'm like, well,
oh my gosh.
Not. You know what I mean? Like joking around or whatever.
By we?
I dated.
By we.
You and the mouse in your pocket? Like
mouse in your pocket.
You know.
I dated this guy and he's like, okay, well, so do you think like tonight we'll be able to like do it? And I'm like, what? Do what? Like, what are we talking about here? We're planning this. Like, we're going to write it down. We're putting it in our scheджles or calendars.
Super not sexy.
Super not
says,
hot. Don't do that.
Schedule.
Ever.
But let me just be honest. When I told my husband that, I'm like, dude, why do we have to talk about it first? Like, why can't it just happen organically?
Yeah.
And then he said, and he just said this recently because we were talking about it. He goes, because I feel like if I talk about it, then like we could start wrapping our minds around it and then you're not going to turn me down.
Oh,
and then he goes, because if you turn me down, if I just go organically and you turn me down, then you hurt my feelings. Do you know what I mean? So it's like he wants to kind of, you know, but he does the same to me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like I have to like I'll joke around or something because I feel like if I'm ever, and Heather knows this about Mike, if I'm ever trying to be spontaneous, he like is like, no.
Oh, because he's so planner and...
Well, yeah. And then it's like, you know, if he doesn't drink, if I've had a couple cocktails and want to come home and he's like, absolutely not. You know what I mean?
You're like, woo!
Yeah.
And he's like, you're scheduled to sleep at 9 p.m.
Yes. He's like, or he'll fake sick or something. Like, I'm like, he does. He was.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Tom. Please forgive me. I'm not going to be invited over to your house anymore and I'm getting fired.
They won't even hear this. They're not going to listen to this podcast.
He fakes sick. I go, okay, you can stop faking sick. I don't want to have sex anymore. It's like... like he's like, no, seriously, my stomach. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay, my husband has never.
Never. That's what I'm saying.
Never, ever, not once, ever. Like he would never turn me down. He'd be like, he would. I don't care if
he's puking. He would.
But he'd be like, hold on, I'm almost done. Let me finish throwing up and we can have sex. No, he would.
You're like, cut off my arm. Hold on, we're gonna,
just tie this up.
Yeah,
but I think that's because he's so pure, and I mean that in a great way. But like, he doesn't drink, smoke. He doesn't do anything bad for him.
Right.
So he likes sex. That's his vice.
Well,
yeah.
I think on my part, so I'm thinking of it as a woman that's been through a marriage where I worried because I didn't have the husband that was the planner, the husband that was the stability, the husband that wasn't like, you know, where I knew he would be faithful and I knew he was, you know, always going to be loyal to me and things like that. So, and I know a lot of people out there are probably feeling and thinking the same thing as me. So what I always worry about is if you don't give them the sex and if you aren't feeling well, or maybe you are going through something emotional, if you don't give them the sex, then maybe they're going to be unfaithful. Maybe they'll be unloyal. Maybe, and then they start to make you feel bad. And then they start to make you, you know, try to break you down. And that goes back to the domestic violence stuff as well.
But that goes back to my point about you need to find a godly man.
Right.
Because if you have someone who is going to honor your marital vows and be faithful. Okay, someone who isn't going to cheat because their wife doesn't want to have sex.
Right.
Like that.
But you know this is going on all the
For
time.
sure.
100%.
And it's going on with women are cheating
yeah.
too.
Women
because,
cheat too.
Yeah,
100%. Yes, they do. And that's what I'm saying is like you have to be with someone who that you
Right.
can trust. Trust is key.
Right,
Because
100%.
everything breaks down from there.
Right.
And if
I always say my husband would never, ever, ever cheat on me. Okay. And not because it's me, because he would never cheat on anybody. That's not in his nature.
Right.
And it's like, I remember dating, I was married before him, and my first husband cheated on me when we dated. Never cheated on me when we were married, but he cheated on me a lot when we were dating.
Right.
And that feeling is so like, it's so unsettling. Like I was always like, God, where is he? What's he do? Like, so I am so grateful because that was in a lot of my relationships. Like,
Right.
people, whatever, I just never felt valued or, like anybody's going to stick around because everybody would cheat or whatever, because
Right.
they were bad boys. I can say that's one of the best gifts my husband has given me is that I know he would never cheat on me. And that is a comfort like no other.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wish that I was more stable for him as far as like not, like not wanting to leave all the time or not, what I mean? Like so now it's like, I think I told him not too long ago, I go, I think you're my forever now.
Oh,
I love that.
He's like 20 years later.
That's what he said. Because I was
kind
like,
of
no.
thinking maybe when we got married, I was
That's what he
forever.
said. But I was like, I think we're going to make it.
Aww.
I think we're going to make it.
But that's a
But I
beautiful
didn't
thing
for a long time.
because you've both put in the work, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like people are just giving up too easy these days, and that's what I
It's
admire.
about forgiveness.
Yeah, I admire that about both of you because it doesn't matter what we go through, but putting in the work and having that forgiveness and saying, you know what, we are going to go through those peaks and valleys, but if we're going to stick with it, let's stick with it. And these are the things that we need to work on. So I love that. And it gives me hope, definitely. And I know there's a lot of single women out there, single men as well. So any valuable nuggets, we're going to close down in a few minutes, any valuable nuggets for our viewers out there that are single, that are hoping to get into a relationship, or those marriages that are out there and that they're not sure if they're their forever person.
The end game. I don't know. What do you think? Like
I think, well, for single women, when someone shows you their true colors, believe them the first time they show you.
Yes.
Right.
We as women are so forgiving and want to let things slide, even though it's huge red flags from the get-go. Well, maybe, and we cut them breaks.
Yeah.
Know your value, know your worth. People treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And you need to stand your ground and just from the get-go, from the jump, be like, sorry, not tolerating that.
Right.
I think as older we get too, that's easier to do.
It
Do
is.
you know what I mean? Because when we were younger and you don't
have as much experience.
No, it's like now we're looking through it through 50-year-old lenses,
Easy. Don't be dumb.
I'm like, hold on, can we edit that out? I was like, who's 50? I'm like, she doesn't get any more champagne and more for you.
It's like truth serum. for
you're
her.
looking through it with experiences. And when you're younger, you don't have those experiences. You don't have anything to look through and see. It's like you're living it. So now it's like we know what's happening. So it's easier now. Do you know what I mean? The older you are.
Hold on, I'm still doing it. So
And the other, that's what I'm
something's
saying though,
wrong
and,
here.
that will actually be a gift for you because you've been through stuff, so you know what to look for, and like you know what I'm saying.
Right. And I think that's a beautiful thing about forgiveness for yourself as well, because if we are making these mistakes, and maybe we're habitually making the same mistakes in a pattern, and it's about recognizing that and saying, you know what? I've made these choices before. I've done this before. I recognize it, and it's time to move forward and recognize it a little sooner each time. And that's what I notice about myself too. And going, as I'm healing still and still working through a lot of my stuff as well, going, okay, listen to your instincts. Yeah, you're right. Listen to your intuition, because people will show you who they are. And it's that feeling, that pit in your stomach and you're like, but then you push past it and you're like, well, maybe, you know, and he's got this quality or she has this quality. And then you start stacking the pros rather than, you know, the negatives, right? So write down a list too.
I was just going to
really
say that.
Helped me a lot.
Traci, write down a list.
Right.
And anyone listening, write down a list of the qualities.
She's talking to me right now.
Yeah.
She's lecturing me secretly and silently and quietly.
Right. I'm doing it in public. Write down a list of the qualities that you want in a man, the things that you want.
Right.
And when you meet a guy, and don't try to squeeze him into a, you know,
right.
Well, maybe like if you want a man, you know, as we age, right, you want a man who's self-sufficient and independent, right? So if you meet a guy who's got roommates, next.
Oh my gosh.
Still lives with his mom.
No, still lives with his
The
mom in the
roommates,
mom's
I'm like,
basement.
what?
Right. No, if you meet a man in his 50s who still lives with a roommate and, you know, doesn't own a home, and I'm not saying like, but you really do. That's what you want.
Right.
Be honest with yourself about what you want.
Yeah.
What you want a man to bring to the table, and look at the past. Look at the historical plays, you know, and do not settle for anything less, because it's better to be, you got some badass bitch friends, right? You got some fun friends.
See, she is totally just talking to me and not even the viewers or listeners.
We can hang out with you and have fun and feed all those other needs except for the sex part. But listen,
I'm glad we cleared that up.
But you need to write that list of the qualities that you want, and don't settle for anything less.
Yeah.
That'd be my best advice. And
Amen.
when they show you their true colors, believe them the first time, and honor yourself, love yourself enough to be like, nope, not cutting it, next, and move on. And I think it's hard once you have a couple months invested and you do love the good qualities, but those are the bad things. And that feeling, I will tell you this much right now, never, not ever, not once did I ever have that pit in my stomach and that feeling like, oh my God, is my husband cheating on me?
Right. That's the best feeling.
I've never ever, that thought has never entered my mind. And I think that is very valuable. And, you know, you just got to honor yourself and the things that you really want, and don't settle for anything less.
Amen.
That's my advice.
To that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think what Heather said too, like and Heather and I have talked about this for a million years. The things that we didn't get in the beginning of our marriage with our husbands, we gave each other. It's like we went to concerts all the time, and our husbands actually were like,
cool
go,
about it.
because I think
they didn't want to go.
Like we were going to go somewhere, and I think it was a night. It was that I met you,
right?
And I said we were going to bring the men or something, and Mike goes, and I think Tom Brown said too, I'd rather poke my eyeballs out than go to that concert with you and Heather and Tom or whatever.
It was good for me. I got to go, so I was like, all right, I'll go.
Our husbands have let us. And just like my husband, like he goes on golf trips, like we'll take our vacations together, but he'll go out and do his thing. And then I appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? And whatever we missed in the beginning, we for sure in our friendships, you get that from your girlfriends. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind
they can't fill all your needs.
Exactly. You can't expect someone to do that as well. No man or no woman's going to ever fill those. And you have to know, you know, who you can go to with certain things. And I think it's about talking and having that communication, also venting to your friends and sharing them with their, you know, the stories and situations so that they can help you. Because when you say it out loud, it sounds a lot different than when it sounds in your head, right? Yeah. I've realized it a lot lately. So definitely learned a lot of lessons. And we have had so much fun. I am loving this. I think we're out of champagne. So that must mean that it's the end of the show. We can find myself here, TLC Unleashed, on all of the platforms for social media, Traci Lynn Cowan. And Jen, I don't know if you're much of a social media girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So where can we find you on social media?
Okay, to be honest with you, I don't even know what my
and
Instagram is, or like how you follow me. I guess I should look that up.
I'm going to tag her on my Instagram and Facebook so you can find her. And then you can also find Heather Brown. So Downtown Heather Brown, Defeating the Darkness. You can share with them. Also, you have your book coming out. So let's talk about that.
Okay. I have a book coming out. It's obviously my career. I was a sexual assault prosecutor and then a homicide prosecutor, but my passion is for victims of sexual abuse. And so I have written a book, and it's coming out March the 3rd, and it'll be published. You can buy it on Amazon. It's called Defeating the Darkness.
Okay. When can we buy it on Amazon?
March 3rd.
March 3rd. Okay, cool.
March 3rd
Look for that,
is when you can buy it on Amazon. And it's called Defeating the Darkness, true survivor stories and a prosecutor's playbook on how to regain your power, take back your power from sexual abuse. It's mostly geared about schools and institutions, but there's tons of nuggets in there and true stories, my backstories in there. And it's really just hey, this is what I've learned as a prosecutor in helping and coming alongside victims of sexual abuse, and that telling your story can be incredibly therapeutic and powerful and help you to heal and help other people in the meantime, and that there is justice out there, not just in the criminal world, but in the civil world. And I work for a law firm called Fight for Survivors. Okay. And we have assembled an army at Fight for Survivors to come alongside victims of sexual abuse. And we are trying to put an end to this epidemic and take down these predators. And so I would love it if you support me and buy my book. And you can also listen to my true crime podcast, which is also called Defeating the Darkness. And it's a message of hope for people who come alongside people in their darkest hour.
I love that. Thank you for all that you're doing. And I wish so much love and good energy for both of you, especially in your marriages, because I love Mike and I love Tom Brown as well. And plus, I also don't want to get fired, as their trainer.
Never going to happen.
But I also want to say, as a survivor of domestic violence and abuse and trauma, working with survivors and giving feedback and information and sharing our stories is so therapeutic, because that's why we get on a show like this, so that we can share with people and let them know that even though we've been through so much pain or trauma, we can live a healthier life, and we can also go through a healthier relationship, and we learn as we go. So we just take things and we learn as we go. And I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still working on myself every single day. But I think the fact is, if you're not working on yourself, you're not going to heal and get to that place where you want to be. So continue to work on yourself, everybody. And if you want that glorious and beautiful relationship that's thriving and successful, make things work so that you can make it work. And so you can follow me every week on the podcast here, Life Unleashed with TLC, and follow me on YouTube and social media, Instagram, and we'll see you next time.
She's a warrior, a survivor, and it's all because of God. She's a teacher and a healer, and it's all because of God. She's sassy, full of fire, with a heart that's made of gold. She will help you build your body, and it's so good for your soul.